Hello YouTube. When playing hog decks, one question that's often asked is, when should I actually go in for a hog rider? Well, in this video I'm going to be answering that question. I'm going to be playing 4 different hog decks. Hog rider with Little Prince, Hog EQ with Mighty Miner, Hog EQ with Evo Knight and Evo Firecracker, and 2.6. I'm going to be explaining when and why I cycle a hog rider in each match, and also explain the context for each specific matchup. Let's get into it. So, to start us off, we're playing against Spartacus, and I'm just cycling cards, cycling my Evolution Skeletons, and cycling my Log. He plays his Rage, so I'm trying to guess what deck he's playing. I go for a Knight again for my Evolution, and he plays a Sparkies. Okay, now I know what he's playing. I go for a Hog opposite lane to apply pressure. Right, the point of this Hog Rider is so that he can't build too big of a push on my right side, because I know that Knight is going to die, and I know that if I just try fully defending, it's going to be extremely difficult. So my cannon is going to get value first defending his Dark Prince, and then it's going to get value also on killing his push on the right side. You want to do that against most matchups. So I use my, Knight again, I cycle to another one, I use my Little Prince ability, and, everything looks good so far. My Little Prince is just outside the range of the tower, or so I thought, and that was just an L. I did not expect that to hit my tower, but it's okay. Apart from that small mistake of not playing my Little Prince further away, we're good. Goes Mother Witch in the back. There's no point fireballing it, because Mother Witch is so easy to kill. I mean, in other matchups you can, and if he played it in the left lane, I would have fireballed it. But in this case, I can just defend like this. Evo Knight in the middle. I go for my Evo Skeletons just because, if I can force out a Zap or I can force something out, his Rage maybe, then that would be good. So he goes for a Sparky in the back. He's forced to play Bats because I think he wasn't sure if those Evo Skeletons would connect or not. We do get one Evo Knight here, which is nice. So I go Little Prince in the back. That gets me 3-card cycle. And I'm just sort of waiting to see what he wants to do. I'm not playing my cannon just yet because I don't want to give him any kind of value. I pop my ability. I meant to go for the Ice Spirit first to tank the Sparky hit, but it's okay. Little Prince is kind of going crazy. Tanking the Sparky hit. My Sparky is on the left side, so I have to play an Ice Spirit so that it will push the Sparky to the right. You guys see that? The Sparky I played on the outside so that it would push the Sparky into cannon range. So I'm fireballing. Right now there's no point going for a Hog Rider, right? I can just take the value and just defend. Now he's gone for Evo Bat, so I'm just frantically trying to get back to another fireball. I managed to get it down in time, and then I wait, I tank that first Sparky hit. Little Prince cleans up, I Knight in the middle, or Evo Knight in the middle, and we're looking good. We're down a bit just because of that Sparky hit I took at the start of the game, but apart from that, we haven't really taken a whole lot of damage. I don't over-defend my Little Prince, I just let it go, and you see now how I switch lanes? Instead of going into the Sparky so that he can't support it, I know that he has to go Evo Barbs, and I also have an Evo Knight, so I might as well force out Elixir, and then I go in the opposite lane. You see, I forced him to play Elixir in the right side by pressuring, and then I go really aggressive on the other side. And with good micro defense, I just about managed to defend. It's very close. His stupid Spear Goblins are getting way too much damage, and he fireballs. I instantly go for a Hog, because I didn't think he had Elixir. I should have probably waited till I had enough for Fireball, because actually he goes Barbs and they full counter. So he just spent 5, I just spent 9, so maybe not the best Hog. If I got a Hog hit, it would have been GG's, I just cycled to another Fireball, but I don't get one. Now he goes Sparky same lane, and so I'm thinking he just used his Barbs, he just used his Sparky. So if I can Hog Rider and somehow distract the Sparky, my Hog should get a hit. But I also don't want to overcommit, so I decided, okay, let's just defend, let's not go crazy. Right, Fireball, which is doing everything that we should, just making sure we're not choking. Good little micro defense. Evo Knight, as always, coming in clutch. Go for a Log, go for an Ice Spirit, and okay, we're fine. I just have to make sure I don't choke. So again, I'm not going Hog Rider because I know he has Barbs and I know he can just play a bunch of cards. He has Elixir. So I go for a Fireball to threaten that I'm going to Spell Cycle, and that forces him to go all in, and then I Hog Rider. Right? I threatened that I was going to Spell Cycle to make him go in, because if he plays passively, he loses. And just like that, we win. In this game, I'm playing Ian's deck with Evo Firecracker and Evo Knight. He plays Barbs in the back. It's a bit of a strange start. I leak a little bit, which I probably shouldn't have, and then I try going Firecracker at the bridge, but he very quickly reacted with an Evo Bomber, which was, well played. He then goes for Skeleton Dragons, because he knows that I don't have He knows that I don't have my firecracker in cycle. And then this was just a poor start. Bad reaction time. His lumberjack gets to my tower when it shouldn't have, so we're down a bit. Up till now, I thought this was Lava Hound, but then as soon as I saw the tornado, tornado and I guess the lumberjack, I was like, okay, I now know this is Golem. So I'm down elixir, and there's no point going for a Hog Rider just yet, so I decided, okay, let's just defend. Let's just cycle a Firecracker, cycle a Knight, cycle a Tesla, and let's just see what he's going to do, right? He can't kill my Firecracker unless he has arrows. He completely messed up that Evo Bomber, but good for me. He can't kill my Firecracker unless he uses a spell, because he just used his Tornado, right? So I'm just thinking, okay, I think I accidentally misclicked my Hog at some point here. Yeah, I meant to go Ice Spirit, and then I was just like, okay, let's just Ice Spirit to stun it. I did not mean to go for Hog in that placement, but we do manage to get 0 hits, never mind. So yeah, not the best start against Golem, but the thing is, he doesn't seem to have a way of killing my Firecrackers, so I'm hopeful. You see, I go Evo Knight and I go Prediction Evo Firecracker because I know that all he has in hand is Evo Barbs, and that's the only way he can deal with my Evo Knight. So my Evo Firecracker shreds it, and then I'm just like, okay, let's just go in, right? He still has to respond to my... He's going to NATO my Hog, but he still has to respond to my Evo Cracker. And yeah, we counter his Skeleton Dragons with high Skellies, so that was nice. And, you know, we're basically equal on elixir. You see, now I know he just used his tornado and stuff, so I can go really aggressive and get a Hog down. And if he goes for barbs, well, then my Firecracker is just going to melt them. So he decides to just tank the damage and go for a bomber, which, I don't know. We get 3 Hog hits, so I'm happy. My Firecracker's teeing off on his tower. I'm protecting it with a Knight. And, yeah, so far we're just waiting. That Hog before was really important, because he hadn't built up a big push yet. Now I'm just defending, high Evo Knight, low Firecracker, and just sort of, you know, Ice Spirit, and this is basically just all dead, which is perfect for me. He goes for an E-Drag in the back. I have a little bit of HP on that Evo Knight, so I'm like, okay, why not? Use it as a tank for my Hog, let's go in. Again, high Skelly drags, well played. I just cycle a Tesla, and he's kind of getting desperate at this point. He just throws a Lumberjack down. Skellies, and I mean, this is so easy to defend. You don't really have to. You can honestly mess up the defense and still it'll defend. So his push is mostly dead. I know he has Tornado, but I might as well... You should support your Firecrackers, right? Because he can't kill them. So in this case, my Hog isn't really intending to get damage. And yeah, that's just GG's. Pretty easy game. Pretty simple way of winning. But you got to know what you're doing. Now on to Hog Mighty Miner. We start the game off with a Hog at the bridge, and he plays his bats. I go for a Mighty Miner just thinking he might go for a Miner. He goes for a Knight to tank for them, so I wait for my Mighty Miner to do enough damage to the Knight and then just pop the ability. So he still has to respond to my Mighty Miner, and he goes for a Queen in the back. At this point I'm thinking he's playing maybe Miner Cycle, like Miner Poison with Queen or something. Since I don't have a tank anymore, I just go for a bomb tower, and we're just sort of waiting to see. He goes in, we go for a Firecracker, Ice Spirit, and I cycle back to my Mighty Miner, which will, you know, tank for the Queen, whilst also dealing with the Mini P.E.K.K.A. Log the Queen, and he pops his ability too late, so we're in good shape. He's forced a Fireball, and I'm like, okay, let's just wait and see what we want to do. I kind of was thinking about going for a Hog, but I'm not really sure. I go for it now, and I know that I can go for a Hog Firecracker, and I didn't know he had Tornado, right? Very strange that he has Tornado. But if he didn't have Tornado, all he would have is Bat. So I waited till I had 7 Elixir, and I didn't just go for a Hog Rider. I went for a Hog Rider plus Firecracker. So if he went for Bats, my Hog would get so much damage. You know, he didn't have his Mini P.E.K.K.A. because he just used it on the right, so that's why I went for that. We just split Skeletons in the back, cycling cards, and he goes for a Sparky in the back. So there's no point going for a Hog right now. I need to focus on defending first. So I go for a Bomb Tower, and we're sort of just waiting and seeing what he wants to do. I go for a Mighty Miner in the back for 3-card cycle, and I was like, okay, what should I do? He goes for his Queen on the right, and I thought that Queen was dead. I thought a Bomb Tower hit plus the Evo Firecracker, and it was dead. And then it wasn't dead. And yeah, it just destroyed my tower. He goes Evo Bats, I instantly pop the ability. I'm like, okay, I need to go in. I need to get some damage back. Firecracker at the bridge just to get some chip damage. My Hog gets a hit. And, okay, it's bad, but it's not the end of the world. Right? We did mess up, but the Hog Riders were good. It was mainly just that Queen didn't die. Survived on 1 HP. Caught me off guard. So, we go in, support the Firecracker yet again. And we managed to get a bit of damage. Cycling another Firecracker in the back. I'm kind of just waiting. Is he going to support this? Is he going to let it go? He fireballs it. And so I just EQ. You know, if he's going to get damage on my tower, I need to get damage on his. He goes for a Queen in the back. He gets 3 card cycles, so now I get 3 card cycle. Fortunately, my skeletons were a little bit late. That kind of sucked. But it's okay. We can just cycle back to another bomb tower. I'm kind of waiting and seeing. You know, I'm not really sure what he wants to do at this point. I pop my bomb just to DPS down a little bit the Queen and also tank one of the Sparky hits. I go for a bomb tower on the left because I know I can defend the right. Right. If I just use my cycle card, it's not too hard. But his Queen, I can't let it go crazy. So again, I go in, I support my Evo Skeletons as much as possible. I go Firecracker just to kill off the bats, and just like that, it's GG's. Right, we get the Hog damage we needed, and the Firecracker gets the final hit. GG's, next game. Finally, we're playing 2.6, so of course we go Hog Rider at the bridge and kind of source out what he's playing. Goes Skeletons, Bandits. I'm thinking it could be Drill Cycle, but he plays a Miner, and so I'm still not really sure, but I'm thinking this could probably be Mega Knight. I don't let the Bandit dash, so I go for a good Ice Spirit. He goes for Wall Breakers, I Cannon, and we're sort of just, you know, chilling out. My Ice Golem has some HP, so why not support it with a Hog Rider? Okay, never mind. I don't do that. I instead wait, and he goes for a Little Prince. Now I Fireball Log it, hoping I can just kill it before he uses his ability. He smartly goes for it early, and then he kind of just punishes me. So I go for this, and actually I would have been fine. Like, I kited this, and this is all fine, but I Fireballed too early. If I had just waited and Fireballed his Wall Breakers as well, I would have taken a lot less damage, but it is what it is. We are down a bit, so I'm keeping track of what he has in cycle. I go for a Hog Rider, he goes for his Evo Skellies. I forgot, I'm still getting used to Evo Skeleton cycle, to be honest. I forget they have it, but, you know, I go for mine now, and he goes for a bad set of bats. He zaps, which means he won't have enough elixir for a mine or anything, so still okay. We are down a tiny bit, but we managed to get the damage back. This time, I'm like, okay, if I just relax and chill out, we can win this. It's definitely my matchup. I just have to not let him overwhelm me. So far, we've just been trading damage, but that's not a great strategy in general. 2.6, you want to take as less damage as you can, and then just always, you know, cycle your Hog Riders and get that damage back later. So again, I first go for a cannon, and now that it's set up, I can just freely Fireball and go for a Hog, and we get a bunch of nice damage. I go for my Skeletons up high so he doesn't prediction zap me. That's why I didn't play it next to my cannon, because that's kind of common. I'm cycling cards. I thought I need to get to a Fireball, but actually his Evo Bats are dead. I kind of just ignore the Miner, because it doesn't do that much. I go for a high cannon just to block anything he plays, and also DPS down the Mega Knight. And I go for a Hog instantly, because he doesn't have his Mega Knight in cycle. Now I know I can get damage. You know, I log his Bandit, it also hits his Little Prince, and then we Fireball it, and this is like, okay, if I just defend, I win. So he's spamming me now. He gives me a lot of Ice Golem value, which is beautiful. And at this point, it's just GG's, but he's still spamming me, and I've still got to defend this. So I go Musky, and I knew he was going to do this. So low log, that full counters the Minor Wall Breakers, and that's it. That's game. Right? So I was just keeping track of when if he had Mega Knight in cycle, you don't want to really, if they're up elixir, you don't want to go for a Hog Rider into a Mega Knight. Like and subscribe if you made it this far.